Morning, so it's Friday the 18th of October. Just taking Willow out for an early morning walk. Just reflecting the last couple of weeks. I think since the weather changed a bit really, she's had a bit of a dip. And she probably looks like she's okay at the moment. She's walking fine, mooching around. But and she had a physio yesterday, and I've got another little video of her doing jumping over some poles. Yeah, looking like, she's doing great at 14 and a half. Talk about, I think, those things, or what you see sometimes, what people show you a little bit of, don't really show the other side of things that's going on behind the scenes. So she does, she's got this retching thing. She's had it for a few years, and every so often it flares up and then it calms down. A few weeks ago she had a flare up and it really became more exacerbated, and I was a bit concerned. Took her to the vets, put on some antibiotics for a week or so, carried on with these tablets she has every so often to help with this flare up, and it calmed down. But the last couple of days I've noticed it's started up again a little bit, and I think it's probably when she does struggle a little bit, and it's the rasping and she tries to get something up, whatever's going on. I think that's always a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It just makes you feel a bit uneasy, because it's like listening, perhaps somebody who's got almost like a form of asthma, or a person who's not breathing that well. It's worrying to hear. And this sort of was also making me think about the reality is, as I've said many times now, it's amazing she's with us, and she's just 14 and a half, just over, and she's, I know I'm on borrowed time. Oh yeah, that's a Freudian slip. I'm on borrowed time. We're all on borrowed time, aren't we, really? But I know that we're blessed and that we're on borrowed time with Willow because of her age. And it's some of the feelings that and the times you go through, and it may be that that's very similar to when people are caring for even a person who you've known for many years. But it's that piece about with Willow. Yes, she's a dog, but over the years, the last couple of years, we've had to adapt, we've had to develop things, try and improve her quality of life, help her to maintain her mobility and her health and so forth. And each time you adapt and you do something else, and then there might be a little dip, and I think some of those dips I start to think, oh gosh, is this it? We've had moments where we've ended up at the vets, and or I hear that breathing thing that worries me, and we've had a few times over the last couple of years where I really do think, oh, maybe is she going to last now much longer? And then she's amazing and she pulls through, and she does. But it's that real up and down sense of, and the emotions and feelings that go with that. And I was also thinking, I remember when my dad had his head injury. I mean, that obviously changed our lives significantly, and his own. But also over the next probably 10 years from that accident, it was adapting, coming to terms with the loss of a person that you once knew, questioning to what extent he knew who we were really, and couldn't always communicate that clearly, and then over time then couldn't cope anymore once Mum died in the house, so moved into supported housing because he still could do some stuff for himself. Then eventually he had a few falls and struggled, so we went into like a nursing home for a couple of years and so forth. And each time it's like, it's part of, I suppose, in a sense, you keep going through these phases of maybe you think you're going to say goodbye, then you don't, then you do, then you don't, and all the ups and downs in between. And that sense of there's a poem I created really recently called The Long Goodbye, and it's actually it was more inspired about other things. It wasn't just about the loss of necessarily a person or an animal, but just that phrase comes to mind. And I think that part of a long goodbye in some ways is that over time you adapt, you come to terms with but then in between that you have moments of lift and hope, and oh, maybe this is now gonna be different. It's gonna almost lulls you sometimes into a false sense of actually, yeah, this is going to go on forever. I know on some level it isn't, but that's how it feels. And I also likened it to like stages of not only, I suppose, the stages of change, but there's also the cycles and stages of loss and grief, and even losses I think that are ongoing. So there's a sense of, oh gosh, please, bargaining, perhaps I hope we're going to have a little bit longer, I hope Willow's going to be with us for a while longer, or if only, if we can, then perhaps, we can do this, that and the other. And then maybe she picks up for a period of time, and then you lift, so you don't feel so low then, you're not worrying so much, you're not feeling so sad about it all. Then you have another moment of, you might even feel a little bit angry with yourself sometimes for feeling you haven't always done the right thing. Then there's other moments where you have a sense of acceptance of what may be, and it's just an ongoing, it's a cycle, just different stages and feelings and processes that you go through. And I just think over time that, yeah, it just, probably not communicating that this well in terms of what I'm trying to say, but I think there's a lot of feelings and thoughts and time that goes into all of that, particularly when you're looking after, whether it be a person or an animal that is aging over the process of time, or they have a condition that is affecting them over a period of time. So you keep trying to relook at different things that might help, until ultimately, coming back to that long goodbye, there's a point at which and everybody is different in terms of what that means when that time comes, and so on. And so, yeah, I just wanted to I feel quite sorry, upset as I'm saying it, really. It's just really really hard sometimes, when you care and love a person, or in this case Willow, I've had for years and years, sort of, and it could be another month, 6 months, could even be knowing Willow another year, 2 years, who's to know. But yeah, oh sorry, as I'm sharing, I'm just like, it's really hard. I suppose I'm just trying to communicate. There's the process that you go through. It could be not even so much every day, week, but every so often, you have these dips, and then you try a bit more, and then push through, and then she picks up, so I pick up, we pick up, and I think that's how life is, isn't it, really, with any animal and or person who is changing over time, and you're trying to adapt to how they might be changing. So yeah, that's didn't expect to get upset, but I just wanted to share the reality of how it can feel at times. So yeah, that's the reality. So just trying to reflect on that, really, and say we live to see another hour, another day, hopefully more than that, but yeah, just wanted to share how that can feel at times. So on that note, have the rest of a lovely day and week, and I shall speak to you all really soon. Alright, take care, bye.